Hi, welcome to the quiz. You can answer along on quizalto.com, all for free. The exact URL of this quiz will be in the notes down below. Let's get started, good luck. What does AWS CodeArtifact use to ensure that the packages are tamper-proof? Firewalls. IP whitelisting. Digital signatures. Load balancers. AWS CodeArtifact uses digital signatures to ensure that packages are tamper-proof and have not been altered since they were published. How does AWS CodeArtifact help with dependency management? By managing serverless functions. By hosting Git repositories. By providing a list of all dependencies. By resolving dependencies automatically. AWS CodeArtifact helps with dependency management by automatically resolving dependencies specified in your package manifest files. What is the default storage class for packages in AWS CodeArtifact? 1. Zone infrequent access. Glacier. Standard storage. Infrequent access. AWS CodeArtifact uses standard storage to store and manage software packages. How do you revoke access to a package in AWS CodeArtifact? By updating the repository policy. By changing the VPC settings. By stopping the instance. By deleting the package. You can revoke access to a package in AWS CodeArtifact by updating the repository policy to remove permissions for specific users or roles. Which command is used to list all repositories in an AWS CodeArtifact domain? AWS CodeArtifact list repositories in domain. AWS CodeArtifact describe repositories. AWS CodeArtifact get repositories. AWS CodeArtifact show repositories. The command, AWS CodeArtifact list repositories in domain, is used to list all repositories within a specified AWS CodeArtifact domain. What feature does AWS CodeArtifact offer for package consistency? High availability zones. Data encryption at rest. Auto-scaling groups. Package version pinning. AWS CodeArtifact supports package version pinning, ensuring that the same version of a package is used across different environments. What AWS CodeArtifact feature helps developers find and fix security vulnerabilities in packages? Cross-account access. Multi-factor authentication. Support for Lambda functions. Integration with Amazon Inspector. AWS CodeArtifact can integrate with tools like Amazon Inspector to help developers find and fix security vulnerabilities in their packages. What kind of replication does AWS CodeArtifact provide? Replication to third-party clouds. Cross-region replication for high availability. Replication to on-premises servers. Replication to local file systems. AWS CodeArtifact provides cross-region replication to ensure high availability and redundancy of your packages. How are dependencies managed in AWS CodeArtifact? By creating IAM roles. By manually listing all dependencies. Through transitive dependency resolution. By using S3 bucket policies. AWS CodeArtifact manages dependencies through transitive dependency resolution, automatically resolving all dependencies required by a package. What is the retention period for packages in AWS CodeArtifact by default? 30 days. 180 days. 90 days. Indefinite, until manually deleted. By default, packages stored in AWS CodeArtifact are retained indefinitely until they are manually deleted. How does AWS CodeArtifact handle package versions? It supports only stable versions of packages. It does not support versioning. It supports multiple versions of packages. It only supports the latest version of a package. AWS CodeArtifact supports multiple versions of packages, allowing developers to work with different versions as needed. Which programming languages and package managers are supported by AWS CodeArtifact? JavaScript, Python, Java, .NET. Swift, Rust, Kotlin, Lua. Perl, Haskell, Dart, Erlang. Ruby, PHP, Go, C++. AWS CodeArtifact supports popular programming languages and package managers including JavaScript, Python, Java, and .NET. Which AWS CodeArtifact feature helps in preventing unintended package deletions? Snapshots. Multi-AZ replication. Package version policies. Elastic load balancing. Package version policies in AWS CodeArtifact help prevent unintended deletions by setting rules on package versions. How can you automate the creation and management of AWS CodeArtifact resources? Using Amazon Macie. Using AWS CloudFormation. Using AWS QuickSight. Using AWS Workspaces. You can automate the creation and management of AWS CodeArtifact resources using AWS CloudFormation templates. What is the maximum size for a single package in AWS CodeArtifact? 2 GB. 500 MB. 5 GB. 10 GB. AWS CodeArtifact supports a maximum size of 2 GB for a single package, which accommodates most common software packages. What happens if you try to push a package to AWS CodeArtifact with the same name and version as an existing package? The repository is locked. The existing package is overwritten. An error is thrown. A new version is created automatically. If you try to push a package with the same name and version as an existing package in AWS CodeArtifact, an error is thrown to prevent accidental overriding. What is required to create a new AWS CodeArtifact repository? A Lambda function. A CloudFormation stack. A domain. An S3 bucket. To create a new AWS CodeArtifact repository, you must first have a domain set up, which acts as a namespace for the repository. How are packages retrieved from AWS CodeArtifact repositories? By manually downloading from the AWS console. By FTP transfer. Using package manager commands. By creating an EC2 instance. Packages are retrieved from AWS CodeArtifact repositories using the standard commands of the respective package managers, such as npm install or pip install. Which types of repositories can AWS CodeArtifact create? Kinesis, SNS, SQS, and EBS. npm, PyPI, Maven, and NuGet. Docker, Git, S3, and EC2. Lambda, CloudFront, Redshift, and RDS. AWS CodeArtifact supports npm, PyPI, Maven, and NuGet repositories, allowing you to store and share software packages used in development. What is the advantage of using AWS CodeArtifact over hosting packages on a local server? Scalability and managed infrastructure. Custom hardware options. Lower latency. Faster local access. AWS CodeArtifact offers scalability and managed infrastructure, reducing the overhead of maintaining a local server for hosting packages. What is one of the key benefits of using AWS CodeArtifact? Built-in data analytics. Automatic code refactoring. Integrated social media sharing. Centralized storage for all your software packages. AWS CodeArtifact provides a centralized storage location for all your software packages, making it easier to manage dependencies and share packages across teams. How can you monitor the health and performance of your AWS CodeArtifact repositories? Using AWS step functions. Using AWS Fargate. Using AWS Lambda. Using Amazon CloudWatch metrics and logs. You can monitor the health and performance of your AWS CodeArtifact repositories using Amazon CloudWatch metrics and logs. What is the main difference between a public and private repository in AWS CodeArtifact? Data encryption. Performance. Access control and visibility. Storage capacity. The main difference between public and private repositories in AWS CodeArtifact is access control and visibility, with private repositories restricted to authorized users. How can you authenticate to AWS CodeArtifact? Using AWS CLI or SDK with temporary credentials. Using SSH keys. Using SMTP credentials. Using FTP credentials. You can authenticate to AWS CodeArtifact using the AWS CLI or SDK with temporary credentials obtained from AWS STS. What AWS CodeArtifact feature allows you to control who can publish and download packages? Multi-factor authentication. VPC endpoint policies. Repository policies. Resource tagging. AWS CodeArtifact allows you to control who can publish and download packages using repository policies, which are IAM policies that specify access permissions. And that's a wrap. Thanks to everyone who participated. Remember, you can answer along on quizalto.com, where you can keep track of your progress and find much more quizzes. We hope you had a fun and challenging time. Until next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more. Hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as we upload. Please leave a comment if you have any thoughts or suggestions, and, if you think this video is worth sharing with someone who could benefit from it, please forward a link to them. See you next time. Thanks for watching.